Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down big ideas. Today we're diving into an ancient story that has a surprisingly modern message about focus, priorities, and, well, dealing with what's right in front of you.
So let's start with a feeling I think we all know. That feeling of being totally overwhelmed by life's biggest questions. Why are we here? What's the point of it all? What happens after we die? It's so easy to just get lost in all of that, with your mind just spinning in circles.
Well, it turns out that feeling is nothing new. We're talking 2,500 years ago, there was this monk, Māluṅkyāputta, who felt the exact same way. He was tired of meditating day in and day out without getting any straight answers to his deepest questions, and he decided he'd had enough.
So he went straight to his teacher, the Buddha, and pretty much gave him an ultimatum. He said, look, either you give me the answers to everything, or I'm out. I'm just going to quit this whole monk thing and go back to my old life. I mean, talk about intense. But what's really interesting here are the actual questions he was asking.
He presented this list of 10 huge, speculative, metaphysical questions. The kind that can tie your brain into a pretzel. Is the world eternal or not? Is the soul different from the body? These are the absolute classic, head-spinning puzzles of existence that people have been debating for centuries.
But the Buddha, he didn't answer directly. He didn't get pulled into a big debate about whether the world was infinite or not. Instead, he completely reframed the whole problem by telling a story. And this story is famously known as the parable of the poisoned arrow.
Okay, so the Buddha says, imagine this. A man is struck by an arrow. And it's not just any arrow. It's been smeared with a thick, potent poison. So naturally, his friends and family are freaking out. They run and get a surgeon to come save his life.
But then, just as the surgeon is about to pull the arrow out, the wounded man holds up his hand and stops him. He says, "Nope, don't you dare touch that arrow. Not yet. I need answers first."
He wants to know every single detail. Who was the guy that shot me? What's his name? What's his family background? Was he tall or short? What kind of wood was the bow made of? What kind of bird did the feathers on the arrow come from? It's just this endless, ridiculous list of questions.
And the Buddha's point here is crystal clear, right? That man would die. The poison would work its way through his body long before he ever found out what village the archer came from. His priorities were dangerously, fatally out of whack.
The Buddha then connects it all back. He tells Māluṅkyāputta, you're acting just like that man. Getting lost in all those big metaphysical questions is totally missing the point. And to really get why, we need to look at one crucial word from the original Pali text. This word is the key that unlocks the whole story.
Okay, that word is abhyakata. Now, in most modern translations, this is understood simply as unanswered or undeclared, as in the Buddha left these questions unanswered. And sure, that's true, but it's only half the story.
This is where it gets really cool. If we use an ancient form of linguistic analysis from that time called niruthi, which is all about getting to the root meaning of a word, abhyakata reveals a whole other layer. Its root meaning is not separated out or unanalyzed. It basically describes a tangled mess.
And boom! That's the Buddha's entire point. He isn't just refusing to answer to be difficult. He's saying that the questions themselves are a conceptual knot. Trying to separate them out and analyze them is like trying to untangle a ball of yarn by pulling on one string. You just make the knot even tighter. It's a distraction from the real, urgent problem.
So, if those big speculative questions are just a distraction, a tangled mess, then what did the Buddha say we should focus on? What is the urgent problem that actually needs to be solved?
He declared what was practical and immediately useful for ending suffering. We now know them as the Four Noble Truths. And it's basically like a doctor's four-step plan. 1, there's an arrow in you. That's suffering. 2, here's how it got there. That's the poison, the cause. 3, it is possible to get it out. That's the cure. And 4, here's the precise method for removing it. That's the medicine.
So you have a choice. You can spend your life getting lost in the tangle of speculation, debating all those cosmic questions that might not even have an answer. Or you can focus on the arrow, the thing that's causing pain right here, right now, and you can follow the practical steps to remove it.
Ultimately, this ancient parable is just a powerful, timeless lesson in priorities. It teaches us that sometimes the most profound thing we can do is just attend to the immediate source of our pain, rather than getting lost in intellectual puzzles, no matter how fascinating they might seem. It's all about dealing with first things first.
And that brings this 2,500-year-old story right into our lives today with a very personal and urgent question. In your own life, what are the speculative tangles you get lost in? And what is the poisoned arrow that you really need to pull out first? Thanks for joining this explainer.